Fall 2025 was here, and you know what that means. Another wave of isekai. Because apparently Japan collectively said therapy, just get hit by a truck and wake up in hentai Hogwarts. And honestly, I'm not complaining. We're talking OP heroes, tragic backstories no one asked for, and if there isn't at least one wrong door, wrong body part, and a hot spring montage that derails the plot, then is it even isekai? Alright, let's dive into the top 5 isekai in May of Fall 2025, where MC's life goal is 20% revenge, 18% collecting waifus, and 100% pretending there's a story. By the way, this is my first ever video, so if the audio sucks or I sound like a dying Discord mod, just pretend it's part of the charm. So starting from number 5 is a wild last boss appeared. Our MC, originally a normal gamer dude, wakes up as his in-game female boss character, Lufus Mafel, a ridiculously powerful female ruler once known as the Black-Winged Overlord. After being sealed away for 200 years, she wakes up to find that her old allies are scattered and the world has gone full apocalypse mode. Now she's trying to piece together why she's rebuilding her fallen empire and uncovering what really happened to the world that she once ruled. The show gives off major overlord vibes, but instead of a skeleton with social anxiety, we get dropped at gorgeous demon queen who could crush you physically and emotionally, and you still thank her for it. Now Lufus is not a villain, she's a misunderstood powerhouse. She's powerful enough to end everything, but wise enough to rebuild everything. It's visually impressive and has that classic Mappa energy. Yes, you can almost feel the animated years. So moving on to the number 4 is Dad is a hero, Mom is a spirit, I'm a reincarnator. This one sounds like someone lost control of light novel title generator, but trust me, it's surprisingly heartfelt. Our main character dies and gets reborn into another world, but instead of starting broke or weak, he's born to a literal legendary hero dad and a spirit goddess mom. So she inherits both divine plus magical strength and a heroic legacy. What makes this work isn't just some OP baby gimmick, it's the family vibes. She's living under the massive expectations. Imagine if your dad was Kratos and your mom was Tinkerbell on steroids. You will have identity crisis every day. But people expect miracles while you're still doing tummy time. Mostly she just wants to grow at her own pace. The show leads to a cozy day-to-day life, dating overpowered parents, mischievous spirits, and some wholesome moments. So coming up at the number 3 is Campfire Cooking in Another World with My Absurd Skills Season 2. Season 2 of Campfire Cooking continues the adventures of Mukoda, the only isekai protagonist who doesn't want to fight dragons, he just wants to grill them. We see him accidentally becoming a world famous chef just by existing, and he's continuing his journey with his companions, Fel, the legendary wolf whose love language is meat, and we have Sui, a baby slime, who's a part-time dishwasher and a part-time hero. Each stops brings new region, new ingredients, and a fresh problem that's more likely to be solved by a hot surf plate than a hot-blooded battle. The loop is delightfully simple. Pet believes a monster, Mukoda converts it into a comfort food that wins over kings, merchants, and occasionally deities who accept cookies as offerings. Now the question is, why should you watch this? It's because this anime is like kind of power fantasy where comfort is the main goal. So coming up at the number 2 spot is A Gatherer's Adventure in Isekai. Our main guy, Takeru, dies like a true modern Japanese salaryman, overworked, underappreciated and spiritually exhausted. He wakes up in a fantasy world with busted abilities, and instead of becoming some big shot hero, he becomes a gatherer. That's right, a gatherer. The gods basically hands him part-time job at woods as material collector. Dude out here is collecting herbs, picking up loot and living his best quiet life while other Sky MCs are screaming limit break in the distance. He joins Adventurers Guild, doing quests, gathering herbs and monster parts. He also picks up a small group of companions along the way. He just wants to travel, collect materials and live comfortably. But the more useful he becomes, the more world drags him into bigger and riskier situations. The world building is surprisingly deep. The economy, the crafting system, it's like watching Minecraft with lore. If Campfire Cooking and Jobless Reincarnation had a chill baby, this would be it. So finally moving up at the number 1 spot is my status as an assassin obviously exceeds the heroes. Our boy Akira Oda gets yeeted into another world along with his entire class. But while everyone else got the flashy jobs, he got the assassin class. Turns out that's the most broken one and ends up being more busted than the hero himself, obviously. So Akira and his classmates get summoned by a king, big speech, shiny armor, fake smiles and the usual welcome. Chosen heroes. A scam! But Akira takes one look at those royal red flags and says, yeah, I'm gonna head out. He dips from kingdom real quick before the inevitable betrayal plot hits. Bro might actually break the system. He starts his solo journey, hunting monster, learning about his assassin skills. He hones his senses and starts uncovering secrets about why his world and their summoning even exist in the first place. As he gets stronger, world gets darker. He's just a guy trying to stay human in a world that rewards cruelty. It's the rare angle in the Isekai genre. If you want an Isekai where MC doesn't simp for kingdoms, doesn't get brainwashed by royalties, and actually uses his brain, this one delivers. And that wraps up our top 5 Isekai of fall 2025. But I brought one more bonus pick for you because we can't get enough of this genre, and that honorable mention is Isekai Quartet Season 3. Isekai Quartet is a basically meme multiverse. Picture this, every major Isekai protagonist gets thrown into one single high school. Ace from Overlord, Subaru from ReZero, Kazuma and Aqua from Konosuba, Tanya, Shield Hero and more, all forced to attend class together. It's like pure chaos. Season 3 of Isekai Quartet proves that the enemy crossover are the most chaotic thing in existence. This is the Isekai multiverse of madness we didn't deserve, but we definitely needed one. Half of the show is just characters roasting each other's trauma, and the other half is Faru trying not to die again. If you want pure chaotic serotonin, this is your jam. And that wraps up our top 5 Isekai anime of fall 2025. This season really brought up some solid Isekai content. But here's the important part, I want to build this with you. What should I cover next? Do you want me to cover top Isekai anime season by season, hidden gems of any season? Or do you want me to cover top romance anime? Drop your suggestions in the comments, I read them all and your ideas will shape the upcoming videos.